A court rules that Jimmy Lai has a case to answer in his national security trial. The death toll from Typhoon Gaemi in Taiwan rises to 4. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. The court ruled today that Nix Digital founder Jimmy Lai has a case to answer in his national security trial. The trial has been adjourned until November. Lai's lawyer said the former media tycoon would take the stand in court. Day 92 of Jimmy Lai's national security trial. At the West Kowloon Law Courts, the prosecution completed presenting its evidence and summoning its witnesses. On Wednesday, both sides gave halftime submissions on whether there's a case to answer with enough evidence. Their arguments are on whether Lai held the intent to seek foreign sanctions against Hong Kong after the national security law came into force. After deliberations, the 3 designated national security judges ruled Lai has a case to answer over 3 charges. They include 1 count of conspiracy to print and publish seditious materials and 2 counts of conspiracy to collude with foreign forces. Defense lawyer senior counsel Robert Pang said Jimmy Lai decided to take the stand to give testimony and undergo cross-examination. An expert witness to clarify technicalities of messaging app Signal will be summoned as well. It is expected that the defense witnesses will take about 4 weeks to testify. The case has been adjourned until November 20th, 11 months after Lai's trial began, as the designated judges have been scheduled to handle other cases. Also facing charges in the same case are 3 affiliated companies of Apple Daily, which pleaded not guilty. The legal representative said they won't summon witnesses. Only relevant documents will be presented in the trial. Gaemi, now reclassified as a typhoon, has left at least 4 dead and 279 injured, and a trail of destruction in Taiwan after making landfall in the island's Yilan County early today. A Tanzanian-flagged cargo ship sank off Taiwan's southern coast. At least 9 sailors are missing. Gaemi is expected to reach Fujian on the mainland this evening. Gaemi made landfall as a super typhoon on the eastern coast of Taiwan, a direct hit at Yilan County which saw floodwater of 1.5 meters deep. Trapped residents were rescued with dinghies. After daybreak, the extent of the floods in low-lying areas even clearer. While Gaemi was moving away from Taiwan, many areas, including the southern city of Kaohsiung, were still pounded by the blustery weather in the morning. The hourly rainfall topped 100 millimeters. The rainstorms lashed the downtown district. At an open-air car park, most motorbikes were half submerged. While schools and offices were closed for the entire day, traffic in this industrial district remained busy. Some pedestrians had to wade through calf-deep floodwater. Local authorities evacuated residents in affected neighborhoods. Chiayi County in central southern Taiwan was also battered by relentless gusts and rain. Storm surges inundated multiple villages, with residents awaiting rescue at home. In nearby Changhua County, part of the river embankment was breached with water gushing in. Neighborhoods flood-stricken. Rescue workers tried to extricate entrapped residents. Amid the rainstorms, multiple vessels were stranded in waters off Taiwan. A Tanzanian-flagged cargo ship reportedly sank off Taiwan's southern coast. Rescue workers are searching for 9 missing Burmese sailors. Another Indonesian-flagged cargo ship was stranded off Pingtung. All 20 crew members are safe. Despite the devastation, the heavy rain has helped replenish major reservoirs across Taiwan, with water levels rising to more than 80% of capacity. Meanwhile, on the mainland, winds are picking up in Fujian province. Strict protection around coastal areas as well. Fujian and Zhejiang have upgraded their storm alerts. More than 150,000 Fujian residents are being evacuated. Around 100 flights have been cancelled, with railway services suspended. Typhoon Gaemi will maintain a distance of more than 500 kilometers from Hong Kong. The observatory said the chances of issuing a tropical cyclone warning signal are low, but the strong monsoon signal is now in force. The weather remained hot during the day. Temperatures in many districts were 34 degrees Celsius or above in the afternoon. Authorities said the hot weather was caused by the outer subsiding air of Typhoon Gaemi. The observatory said they are unlikely to issue the tropical cyclone warning signal unless Gaemi adopts a more westerly track after making landfall in Fujian. U.S. President Joe Biden spoke publicly for the first time since telling the world on Sunday that he would not seek re-election. He made an impassioned plea to Americans to save democracy. Nasri Karim has more.
Behind the resolute desk at the Oval Office, he talked about love of country.
I revere this office, but I love my country more.
And how democracy is more important than any president.
But in the defense of democracy, which is at stake, I think it's more important than any title.
As supporters played music outside the White House, inside Biden didn't truly open up on why he really quit the race, with many from his party and polls indicating he would have lost to Donald Trump in the November election and taken many fellow Democrats down with him.
You know, in recent weeks, it's become clear to me that I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor. I believe my record as president, my leadership in the world, my vision for America's future, all merited a second term. But nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. That's the best way to unite our nation.
Biden had been under pressure to step aside as a Democratic nominee after his faltering performance against Trump in the June 27 debate. He finally relented on Sunday, endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris as his replacement on the Democratic ticket. His supporters waited solemnly outside the White House, some tearing up while watching his 10-minute address, during which he did not mention Trump by name. Biden vowed to keep working hard until he ends more than half a century of political life on January 20th, 2025.
My fellow Americans, it's been the privilege of my life to serve this nation for over 50 years. Nowhere else on earth could a kid with a stutter, from modest beginnings in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claremont, Delaware, one day sit behind the resolute desk in the Oval Office as President of the United States. But here I am. That's what's so special about America. The great thing about America is here, kings and dictators do not rule, the people do. History is in your hands. The power is in your hands. The idea of America lies in your hands.
Nasri Karim, TVB News.
And still ahead, details of Boeing's plea deal in relation to plane crashes. A fatal industrial accident in Liking. And umbilical cord blood from Guangdong for transplant at the Children's Hospital. Welcome back. Boeing on Wednesday finalized a guilty plea deal with the U.S. Justice Department. The company faced a fraud charge for misleading regulators on the 737 MAX jetliner before two of the planes crashed. It will pay a fine while also investing millions of dollars to boost safety and quality programs. Danny Zhou reports.
The U.S. Justice Department said Boeing had conspired to make false representations of the key software feature of the 737 MAX jetliner and misled the Federal Aviation Administration before it certified the plane for flight. This was tied to the fatal 737 MAX jet crashes in 2018 in Indonesia and 2019 in Ethiopia, which killed 346 people in total. Because of Boeing's alleged deception, FAA had incomplete and inaccurate information about the plane's new flight control software system, which was called MCAS, and how much training pilots would need for it. Boeing avoided prosecution in 2021 by reaching a $2.5 billion settlement with the Justice Department and promised to detect and prevent violations of anti-fraud laws. However, in January this year, a door panel blew out midair on the 737 MAX during an Alaska Airlines flight, leading to new scrutiny of Boeing's safety. In May, federal investigators accused Boeing of breaching the 2021 deferred prosecution agreement for failing to make necessary changes to its production policies. Boeing pleaded guilty and agreed to pay a fine of at least $243 million. It will invest at least $455 million over the next 3 years in its compliance, quality and safety programs, while vowing to continue to work transparently with regulators. Families of the crash victims had objected to the deal, arguing that it unfairly makes concessions to Boeing. Many of them demanded a full trial, a harsher penalty, and wanted current and former Boeing executives to be charged. Under the terms of the plea deal, Boeing's board of directors will be required to meet with the families within 4 months of sentencing. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
A dump truck driver was killed in an industrial accident in Lai King today. The man was caught between the dump truck and a dredging machine at a construction site. The police received a report at around 10 a.m. that a man was working beside a dump truck when the dredging machine nearby suddenly started revolving, trapping his head in between the truck and the dredger. The 42-year-old was confirmed dead on site by paramedics. Foundation works for a private housing project were being carried out at the construction site at the time of the tragedy. High-end car company BMW Hong Kong said about 14,000 customer records have been affected by a recent cybersecurity incident. The company said they reported it to police and the Office of the Privacy Commissioner for Private Data. In a statement released on its website, BMW said the affected personal information of customers include names, mobile numbers, and SMS opt-out preferences. The company said an external cybersecurity expert will look into the incident. A 5-year-old girl will receive an umbilical blood transplant at the Hong Kong Children's Hospital in October, after her younger brother's cord blood was delivered from Guangdong province. The girl suffers from severe thalassemia. This is the second cord blood delivery from the mainland to the city since 2018. Mimos and I reports.
The 5-year-old girl was diagnosed with severe thalassemia soon after she was born and has been receiving blood transfusions since she was 4 months old. She now receives a transfusion once a month. The girl's mother said her daughter had noticed she was different from other children. Unlike other kids, she visits the hospital regularly. In June, the cord blood bank in Guangdong province received a call from the patient's parents saying their daughter needed the cord blood of her younger brother. It was stored in the bank after he was born. The bank then set up a help team and contacted the Hong Kong Children's Hospital. On July 12, the cord blood bank submitted documents for delivering the cord blood to the General Administration of Customs. They obtained approval documents on the 18th. At 8 a.m. this morning, the cord blood arrived in Hong Kong. Doctors from the Hong Kong Children's Hospital said an umbilical cord blood transplant can cure severe thalassemia. This means no more blood transfusions for the girl if the operation is a success.
We noted that actually the patient's younger brother has cord blood stored in this cord blood bank in mainland China. We have proceeded to type the brother's white blood cells to see whether to match with the patient. And we found that it is really matched. We make sure that the quality and the results of testing of the cord blood match our standard.
The hospital said 10 other children are currently waiting to undergo an umbilical cord blood transplant. News 9, TVB News.
Bipolar disorder is a mental health condition which causes extreme mood swings that include emotional highs and lows. The Chinese University of Hong Kong's Faculty of Medicine carried out studies on bipolar disorder in the Greater Bay Area. The studies found children of parents suffering from bipolar disorder are prone to developing it as well. They have a higher risk of circadian dysfunction or irregular sleeping patterns. Helen Chen reports.
Bipolar disorder is a severe mental disorder that consistently ranks in the top 10 leading causes of medical disability globally. Its heritability may reach over 80%. The Chinese University of Hong Kong led a study on the children of parents with bipolar disorder. The research found they have a 4-fold higher risk of circadian dysfunction than their counterparts from a control group whose parents did not suffer from bipolar disorder.
The illness itself will affect not only the patient, also the whole family. Hospitalization, affect the work, and affect the children. So it's more than gene. It's a gene plus environment.
The study showed the children of bipolar disorder patients had significantly lower melatonin levels at night than the kids from the control group. The lack of this sleep-regulating hormone may result in disrupted circadian rhythms. The study was carried out in collaboration with 10 hospitals in the Greater Bay Area and involved 191 children of bipolar patients, aged between 6 and 21, serving as case studies.
According to the previous study, we found that the children in Hong Kong sleep less and sleep later than the children in mainland China.
Professor Wing said early non-pharmacological interventions, such as maintaining a regular sleep-wake routine and avoiding electronic devices before bedtime, holds promise for reducing the risk of serious mood disorders. Helen Chen, TVB News.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.